Okay, so this lesson is constructing piecewise functions from real-world context. So if you ever wonder, when will I ever use piecewise functions in real life, this is the video for you. You're probably still not going to use them, but this answers that question. Okay, learning target. I can construct piecewise functions from real-world scenarios. So in this lesson, we'll be covering how to set up piecewise defined functions based on story problems, or word problems. Keep in mind that each piece of a piecewise defined function has its own domain. So we'll also have to set up an interval for each piece, just like the sample piecewise function f given below. So this is what it's going to look like. There's going to be some type of expression or equation. Expression would be better, and then a restricted domain. An expression, restricted domain, expression, restricted domain. Okay, so if you look at this one, a bakery has the following pricing for large orders of cupcakes. The first 100 cupcakes cost $2 each. The next 150 cupcakes cost $1.75 each. And then each cupcake ordered in excess of $2.50 cost $1.25 each. The total cost C is a function of the number of cupcakes ordered X. Write the piecewise defined function. So that's just a really confusing way of saying that your equation is going to be named C of X. Alright, I'm definitely going to have 3 equations and 3 restricted domains because you can see my 3 different colors. So if X represents cupcakes, $2 each would be 2X. And because we're talking about cupcakes, it says the first 100, that would be 1 cupcake to 100. Okay, the next one says if I order over 100, if I order over 100, but for the next 150, there'll be 175 each. Say it like this. Okay, so we're going to start with 101. Alright, and it says 150 more, so we've already made a 100, so if I add those together, I get 250. And then the last one says, if I order excess of 250, so anything bigger than 250, it's going to be $1.25 each. Alright, so there are your 3 expressions and your 3 restricted domains. So now we're going to use this to answer the questions, which you could probably answer the questions without even writing it, but where's the fun in that? So A, if a school orders 15 dozen cupcakes for an event, what would the total cost of their order? So I want you to see if you can calculate this. I want you to pause the video and try it, and do that in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you have 15 dozen cupcakes, you have 180 cupcakes. So for the first 100, so from 1 to 100, we're paying $2 each. So I have 100 cupcakes at $2 each, that's 200. After that, I have 80 cupcakes left over, and those are $1.75 each. So if I do 80 times $1.75, I get 140. So I paid 200 for the first 100, and then I have to pay 140 for the next 80, so that gives me 340. Alright, now you pause the video and try the second one. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I order 450 cupcakes, the first 100 are $2 each, so I got $200. The next 150 that I order is $1.75, so I would spend $262.50. And then because I'm doing 450 in total, that means 200 more. So 200 times $1.25 is $250. And if I add all 3 of those together, I'm going to end up spending $712.50. Okay, so hopefully you got those right. If not, hopefully you can find your mistake. And if not, you can send me a message. Alright, let's look at this next example. A rental home on Airbnb rents for $100 a night for the first 3 nights, $90 a night for the next 3 nights, and $80 a night for each remaining. The total cost t is a function of the number of nights. So that means my function looks like this, t of x. We're going to write a piecewise defined function. Okay. So first thing I want is we're doing $100 per night. So x represents nights, so it's going to be 100 times x. I have to restrict the domain because this is only good for the first 3 nights. So as long as you are less than or equal to 3 nights, you get it for $100. The next one, I spend $90 a night. That's for the next 3 nights. Alright? So that would be between 4 and 6 nights. And then the last one is for $80 a night, and that's each remaining night. So anything greater than or equal to 7. So that would be my function. So hopefully that makes sense how you do these. I think they're pretty easy. Let's look at this one. It's a little more challenging. So example 3. Below is a proposed alternative to the current federal income tax system based on a taxpayer's annual income. For the first $100,000, every dollar is taxed at 10%. Each additional dollar over $100,000 is taxed at 20%. For the next 100,000. Over 200,000 is 30%. Over 300,000 is 40%. So we're going to find a piecewise function, and it says to use t, so it'll be t of x. For people, for federal income tax for a person earning x dollars, so x represents dollars. So I want you to see if you can write this function. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so pause the video and try it in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this one's kind of challenging, so if you messed up a little bit, we'll talk about it. So for the first $100,000, it's going to be 10%. So that's going to be 0.1x, because that's what 10% looks like if you change it to a decimal. And this is for anything that's less than or equal to $100,000. Alright, the next one's a little more challenging. So each additional 100,000 is taxed at the rate of 20%. So I would do 0.2x, but keep in mind I've already paid $10,000 because that's 10% of that $100,000. So if you just missed that part, just add that in. And this only occurs if x is between $100,000 and $200,000. So we don't want it to equal 100,000 because we've already equaled it in yellow. So that's why it equals 200,000, but it doesn't equal 100,000. So it's between those two numbers. The next one is going to be taxed at 30%. Alright, but remember, you've already paid $10,000 because that was 10% of 100,000, and you've already paid another $20,000 because that's 20% of 100,000. So we're actually going to end up taking away 30,000 this time. And this only happens if you're between 200,000 and 300,000. And then the last one, you're going to be taxed at 40%. Now you're going to take away 60. You're taking away 60 because you spent 10,000 right here, 20,000 right here, 30,000 right here. So 10, 20, 30 is 60,000. You've already paid 60,000, so you don't need to do that. And this happens where if you make anything above 300,000. Pretty good plan. Alright. So for part A, how much federal income tax would someone with an annual income of $150,000 pay? So I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out which one it goes into and how much you would actually pay. So try that in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that falls into that second category because 150,000 is between 100,000 and 200,000. So if I do, I'm plugging it into the green, 0.2, $150,000 minus $10,000, because you've already paid those taxes on that first $100,000, you would end up paying $20,000. Alright, so try part B. Try that in 1, 2, 3. Alright, so part B falls into the red category. Oh, I just realized I didn't put an X right there. Sorry. So I would plug that number in for X. I would subtract 30,000. Once again, that's because you paid 10,000 for your first 100,000, then you paid 20,000 for going up another 100,000. So 20 plus 10 is 30,000. That's where I'm getting these numbers. All right, and you'll end up paying $37,500 in taxes if you make an annual income of $225,000. All right, and then try part C. Try that in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for this one, you're working backwards, and you're trying to figure out what did you actually make if you had to pay $1 million. Oh, sorry. How much taxes would you pay if you had an income of $1 million? So obviously that's that last category. Wouldn't it be nice to make $1 million? Yes. Alright, and when I do that, this is how much you would pay just in federal income taxes. But you're still rich, so I think it's okay. Alright, example 4. This is our last one. A salesperson makes $35,000 a year plus a 4% commission on all sales up to and including $500,000. If they exceed $500,000 in sales, the salesperson's commission jumps to 6% for all the remaining sales over $500,000. The salesperson's total salary, S, is given in a yearly basis where X represents total sales. So this is what it's going to be called. And I want you to see if you can come up with the piecewise function. So try this in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so hopefully that was enough time. So you're going to make $35,000 plus 4%, which is 0.04 on every sale you make. So X. And that's if X is less than or equal to 500,000. Alright? If you make over 500,000, so my restricted domain is definitely going to be above 500,000. If this happens, then you would make 0.06% on what you on your commission. Okay, so if you put this, you're almost there. The only thing I want to show you is, so remember the part in red is if you make more than 500,000. So in the blue part, because you were over 500,000, remember, so here was your equation. So just from doing this alone, you make 55,000. Okay, but 35 was your salary. So you made $20,000 just for selling $500,000 worth of stuff. So your commission goes up, but remember, you still made $20,000 from the part in blue. So that's where I'm getting this $20,000 right here. So that gets a little confusing, a little complicated. Don't worry, I'm not going to put too terribly hard stuff on your next quiz and on your next test. Alright, so see if you have any questions about that. You can always send me a message, do whatever you need to do, watch some extra videos, let me know what I can do. Okay.